Hey, hi everyone. So this is my second video, and today we're just going to talk a bit more about landing in Canada. Okay, so after you decide where you want to travel, make sure that you do a complete check of the documents that you need to carry with you when you make your first landing. Make sure you have this checklist run over with your immigration consultant in case you went through a consultant, or go through the website cic.gc.ca for a complete list of all the documents, and make sure you carry these documents with you as you travel. Do not pack them in the in the luggage that goes stored into the plane. So make sure you carry them in your hand luggage, basically your cabin luggage, right? Not in your checked baggage, so that you don't want to run the unpleasant occurrence that your baggage gets lost or misrouted. So you're not wondering where these documents are. Yeah, so always carry them with you, and yeah. And be prepared to answer the questions that the immigration consultant or the air or the airport staff asks you. This just going to be simple questions, so there's nothing to be very perturbed about or very anxious about. They're just going to ask you the basics and everything, right? Like because you have done all the necessary paperwork back there, so you definitely are not illegal. So it's just like a little bit of a question and answer round. In case you have made your landing in Canada, your first landing in Canada, let's say after a long period after you got your PR. Let's say you got your PR, let's say in May 2004, just to give an example, and then you decide to land or do your first landing in Canada, let's say only a year and a half later. Then you know what the official might ask you questions like, oh, why did you take such a long time, and why didn't you come immediately? Well, you can always say that you had personal obligations back in India, or you wanted to spend a lot of time with your family and friends. Your dad was sick or your mom was unwell, so that once you come to Canada, you can be more focused and stay there because you're not sure as to when you might travel again. Or you might say that you wanted to just finish off a financial obligation, or you're doing a course over there that you wanted to study. Just be honest, and or try to be as give pragmatic answers, right? Because there's nothing preventing you or from making that first landing after a long time if you need to make it that way. And also, while you're doing your packing, pack wisely. Do not try to stuff in everything. Remember that as a permanent as a landed immigrant, you are given the privilege of bringing in your personal effects into Canada within I guess within 2 years from the date your PR is stamped. I'm not sure, these rules keep changing, but I do know that you can bring in your personal effects, in the sense that you can ship in your personal effects, like your clothing, or let's say your music system, or stuff like your cooker, and etc., right? Within a stipulated time frame, and these shipments will not be charged duty on them. So yeah, so make sure you do your homework. And at this point, I would also say that let's say if you have a friend here in Canada, right, you can also do a quick check with them, like instead of bringing each and everything, like some things are available here at a lower cost, right? So maybe the cost of getting it locally in Canada will be even more cheaper than having to ship and then wait for it, right? So that's a pretty useful thing to do as well. And you might instead choose to ship your other items of a sentimental nature, right? Like maybe like your favorite vase, or maybe your very a good grand sari or something like that. So yeah, so make sure you do that a little bit of study as well before you decide what goes into that handbag or suitcase as you pack. And another thing is, especially those who are holding an Indian license, you can drive in Canada with your Indian driving license for 60 days. You don't need to convert that into convert that into an international driving permit, or IDP or IDL. Yeah. So make sure you do that little bit of check too, because I personally was able to drive in Canada on my Indian license. Well, I didn't in the end. I was just too frightened to. But yeah, a lot of my friends did, and so did my husband. So yeah, so make sure you do that little check, and that's something you can avail of. Like when you land in Canada, you can drive around, right, for the first 60 days, and that's a very useful thing to keep in mind, especially when you land into a friend's place, or let's say into a hotel, and then you are going about maybe finding your first little house or your condo, or finding a better place to stay instead of far away from your city, right? So yeah, these are little things that you need to keep in mind and do a bit of research into. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and as always, please feel free to post your comments negative or constructive ones too, or positive too. And make sure you like this video if you find this useful. Feel free to email me if you have more questions, or you need me to answer anything, or you just want to reach out to me for something. Yeah, as always, thanks for your support. Bye.